Hello, the Internet! Hello, those video guys. This is the team from Aidan 5 here from Columbus, Ohio. Just wanted to say thank you for having us on your show, and we'll do our best to answer all your questions and not look like idiots.
How does it make you feel? All alone. I guess that's the difference between us. I don't feel anything at
all. For more than 40 years, Infinity Corporation of America has been the quality brand you know and trust.
So I guess if we go back to the 48-hour film, I wanted to do that for a weekend, and really, I actually asked Ben if he could do it, and at the time he could not do it. Me and Ben had worked together at another company and worked on a couple things together.
It was a big mistake.
Yeah, but Brian and I go back to childhood, and I basically twisted his arm to show up the next day because I had no lead actor. And Maya got her arm twisted by the other co-creator, Tim Baldwin, who's not with us. He knew Maya and said, "Hey, I think I got a lead actress," and I said, "I think I have a lead actor." And that's kind of, they really had no choice in the matter. It's kind of takes the collaboration out of it when you're forced or coerced into it.
We showed up ready to be poked with a stick and told to act.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then I heard about it as they were filming it. Brian had sent me a few emails saying it looks really cool. It's like a living comic book. And then I saw it that following Wednesday when they previewed it in Columbus, and was just completely blown away by what they had done. And you know, talked to Johnny about it a very short time later and said, "Man, that's such a great piece. You know, I really wanted to see more. I wanted to see more of the story." And we had been talking about working on something for a while. And this just seemed like the perfect project for them.
The 48-hour, everything is supposed to take place during those 48 hours. So the actual idea was birthed during those 48 hours. Friday at 7 o'clock, pulled sci-fi out of a hat, and that was the genre I had to work in. And Tim Baldwin and I came up with the story for that original one. So that was all within there. Now, the drawing element I had thought about probably 2 weeks prior in getting ready for the 48-hour. Just wanted to do something different, and it also solved a lot of problems I was sort of having. I was worried about locations for some reason. I was really hung up on, like, who do I know that has a house, and I can't use my own home and stuff like that. So really, I've always been kind of wanting to try that mixture medium of the art and live action, and it's been done before. And yeah, it just happened to. And no, I didn't know it was going to work. We just kind of wung it, and that's the freedom the 48-hour film gives you. But I definitely encourage people to try something like that. It's total freedom, and I think a lot of creativity can come out of that, and it did. So.
I think the 48-hour film project is great for actors as well as directors and filmmakers. It really it lets you jump into a bunch of different characters, and it lets you see the results quickly, which is something.
Yes, and it's fun to see it up on the big screen because the 48-hour film competition is an international competition, and they do it upright, so you do get to see your finished work up on a big screen, and it's fun to jump in on a team, sometimes with people you've never met before, as we had not met, and to see what comes out of it. And it gives you, it's kind of permission to take that afternoon or that day and just focus on acting or directing and writing, something that we often don't make time for.
It's a luxury.
It's a luxury, and so it is. It's kind of rewarding just to do it. Challenges you.
The very night the original won an award for the 48-hour film contest, Ben walked down out of the audience and said, "We got to do a web series." So it was instantaneous almost.
Yeah, I sat around and knew for about a month after the fact, and then sat down with Johnny and Tim and Brian and Ben Brown, who's our illustrator and compositor, and we just kind of said, "Hey, you know, let's take the next steps to make this a reality." And we just started talking about story and what would the story be. Johnny and Tim had set up such a great premise and a great world, a very rich world with a lot of possibilities. So we thought, well, let's expand on that, and what could we just kind of had everyone throw ideas onto a table and say, this is what I would like to see, this would be cool, and this is what we already had for it. So I think that's kind of where the process started. And then we took about after that we took about 5 months, maybe 6 months, where we just kind of would meet periodically. Johnny and I would get together and kind of hash out the story and figure out what story we were going to tell, not just for one season, but actually 2 and 3 seasons beyond that. So we really tried to find that. Yeah. So there's more out there.
Yeah. Well, and also we really laying out that story, knowing, obviously doing something for the web is a little different. It's still changing as we speak, but we were very conscious of trying to write stories in these smaller nugget size with little cliffhangers attached to them, and so we really spent a lot of time trying to develop that as well too. And that's where the team of writers came in. Once we had laid the groundwork for the overall first season story arc, then it was like these writers put a lot of meat on the skeleton. So we meat on the bones. Basically
sent out a kind of a team, and they all we farmed out episodes, and everyone kind of took an episode and made it their own. And then the series just kind of evolved. We started shooting in June. It was June of 2009, and then shot all the way through Thanksgiving of that year, and then November, and then we did pickups in March of 2010. I think we were still filming last summer at some point.
We shot a few pickups here in the backyard.
Johnny's garage.
So it's fitting we're in the dining room now.
Right.
Actually, right here is where we did a lot of the writing. This is where Ben and I would meet and basically rewrite everything those writers gave us.
Yeah, it was just
hacks.
No, we really have wonderful writers, though, really.
No, we do, totally. It's not a secret. We can't say that.
Completely secret.
Does he mean just cameras and lights?
Yeah. Well, but it's true. At the technology bit, there is a lot of really low-tech stuff, like drawing with a pencil and paper, or just standing as an actor, standing there and acting to nothing. That's basic craft.
We shot with 2 cameras. What were the
HVX 200s? We're shooting this with the very camera that we shot.
We did want to shoot a little above that, but this is the camera that we had 2 of, so that was important. The gentleman had built us a green screen, a fairly large green screen. It was actually a really nice spot to be. It was basically in a workshop of a working theater department. Which was great. Then we would move on to other places because as the schedule permitted, we weren't allowed to be there the whole time. So that was really that's really the low tech side. Unless I'm leaving something out. I mean,
we had a couple production companies in town that were really great that helped us out, and then let us film in their stage, and then when we couldn't do that, a friend of ours let us film in a warehouse, and we filmed in, like Johnny said, in Johnny's backyard and in his garage here. So
hang up the green bed sheet.
That's right.
And say the lines again.
That's about it.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
If you have a green screen, we'll travel. And really everything cuts pretty seamlessly. We get it in post, and I'll let Ben talk about that.
Yeah, and sometimes we'd have people in just 2 completely different locations, shot a year apart from each other. Then later in post, you can put those people in the same scene. So that was really helpful when you couldn't get actors to show up on the same day sometimes. Not the 2 of them, but yeah, we had. We basically had, we take everything, we edit it in Avid Media Composer, and then we composite in Adobe After Effects. And really it's just the illustrators all draw all of their, hand draw all of the backgrounds, we scan them in. Some people do draw them digitally, other people draw them on trace paper, and then our compositors bring them into After Effects and marry them all together, as Brian was talking about earlier.
Acting on a green screen is very challenging. It's probably, but ultimately I think one of the most rewarding experiences that I've had. I mean, it forces you to use your imagination in new ways that you've never used before. As far as minimalist theater goes, though, it's a very interesting comparison. I think it's similar, very similar, but with theater, you always know where you are. You're always oriented. You know where the audience is. You know that you have to exit stage left. You might only have like a ladder or a box or a phone to work with. But when you're on a green screen, you might still have that ladder and the box and the phone, but the audience is constantly moving, and you get very disoriented because we're the thing that moves. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You guys? Okay.
Yeah, no, it is incredibly disorienting because our cameras stay in one place, all the time, shooting against this one-sided green screen.
Mm-hmm.
So the world is constantly moving around.
Yeah.
And it's disorienting for us just as much as it is, I think, for you guys,
Yeah.
I would say.
I think the green screen is probably more challenging than minimalist theater, but it's a completely different animal.
Because it's combined. I've not done minimalist theater, but it's combined. I have done some stage acting, and when you're doing film, the size of the stage changes. When you're doing a wide shot, the stage is bigger, and when you're doing a close up, the stage is only this big. So you have to not only take into account all the other things, but you have to do the normal acting for film things, which is tailor your performance down, where a small movement can mean a lot when it's a close up, but it's going to get lost on a wide shot. So it's I found it very challenging myself. I learned a lot too.
Oh yeah.
We would get confused as directors, both Ben and I. I mean, it was really two directors on set, and we would get turned around and trying to tell them just simply where the door is. Walk right here through the
The
door.
whole thing would devolve into a 20-minute conversation about, no, where the door's over here, no.
And then on top of that, you add their characters and the fact that we're trying to shoot multiple episodes in one day. We're trying to shoot 3 episodes is what we set out to do. We ended up getting about 2.5 or really 2 done in a day. In about a 19-hour day, and at any given moment we could change on them based on something crazy, like, oh, we have all of our extras are here now, let's do the airport scene now, and then we'd have to tell these guys, oh hey, we're going to do the airport scene from episode 9, and they would take a few minutes, and then they would be ready, and they'd have to know where their character was emotionally and physically as well too, but they just did it time and time again. Which was really great, and I really think that's why it works. We really got lucky having 2 completely professional people who they said they didn't do a lot of green screen before, but you wouldn't have known it, and they rolled with it, and they've made it work. So it's as serious as I'll get.
They're
Yes,
amazing.
very nice.
They're amazing.
Excellent.
We get this question a lot, actually, and the truth of the matter is, we don't even really know. We can't. It usually takes, on average, we have so many different people working on it across so many different factors. They're all doing it in their spare time when they have a chance for free. And really, we've had people start and then had to drop out, for various personal reasons, and life gets in the way. I would say on average, it takes, in an ideal situation, about 2 months to complete an episode in post-production all the way through sound design and scoring. But we've had episodes that have taken
longer.
5 months. So.
And when you say ideal, meaning just the way we're working now, again being volunteered and everyone working when they can, I think we know there's a faster model, and obviously we're exploring that is if we're lucky enough to go forward with it.
If
get
we
it
were
down to the science.
if we were all working on this full time, round the clock, we could get it done in a couple of weeks. But I think really the key is trying to get everybody marching at the same beat when everyone's in different locations. They're all working separately from each other, and they're doing it when they can. And anyone who's worked in the production world knows that it's very hard to find free time to work on these projects. But I think it's a testament to the commitment to everybody who's worked on it, is they've still pushed through the process and have still gotten it to a point where we could start releasing the series now. We hope that our situation improves a bit for seasons 2 and 3. We'll see. So if anyone out there is just
sitting on a big pile of money and wants to see seasons 2 and 3, give me a call, email me, or Johnny, somebody out there.
Put the number down here.
Right on the screen.
614.
Well, I'd say that we definitely didn't have any time to do any actual reshoots. We did pickup days and pieces that we hadn't been able to get during principal photography, but I don't think we ever were able to go back and redo anything. We really, in essence, you're right. We live with what we have, with the resources that we had, but yeah.
But there's something about that to me, and watching the new episodes come out. There's part of that is the charm of watching it. Is going, oh boy, they cut away from that real fast because it didn't quite look right. But it reminds me that we didn't have any money and we were doing this on a shoestring, and I find that very endearing, seeing a finished episode and picking out the little things that go by so quick you don't notice them, but to me it just reminds me of making the thing and remembering all those little challenges that we had faced, and it makes me feel even more proud of it sometimes.
One of the things too about shooting them all, like we shot them all together, in like a 6-month period before we really delved into post-production very, very deeply. So we had the sea of green footage, and only after the fact you start seeing it come together. How many times have we been like, oh, if we could only go back and maybe do this a little bit differently? But I think that's again part of the I guess the charm of working like this is that it's you make your decision, you stick with it, and then you make it work, with what you have.
In shooting green screen like this, there is a freedom to redirect in post. That's certainly one of the great draws of it. It's like, well, wait a minute, let's move him over to the left, let's move her to the right, let's, you know what, they're not in a sewer, they're in a fancy hotel.
And that actually happened, yes.
So that was kind of freeing in that way, really. But it is good. I would still personally prefer to always just be ready to come and shoot it the way I envision it the first time. I don't think I'd like to do too much noodling after the fact. I don't know, that's just me, I think we both kind of had sort of an idea when we would attack an episode that, no, this is what we're doing, and just selling out that way. I like it. I miss it when I see the episodes. Again, we're still making this season's episodes. I see it and I laugh and enjoy some of it, but man, I'd kill for a cabin and a little old lady and a dog and just to make a story with a camera and just sit and use natural light or something.
Now you brought up this cabin and the old lady and the dog. What story do you see this envisioning? Give us a preview here of what this.
I don't know, and I think I really don't care. I think it's just because I think I can. There's a wealth of old ladies around and cabins and dogs. I don't know.
And if not, with the right makeup, I can be a good dog. She can be a nice old lady.
Thank you for not making me the dog.
I think the one thing I can say, and that's probably for all of us, being storytellers, it's what does that story require? So the next thing I do, it probably won't require all green screen and drawings and all that. It's just what does that story ask?
Maya and I actually appeared in something else. It was another 48-hour project, and then I've participated in the 48-hour film project in the subsequent year after that as well as part of the team. And I've done some other shorts around town, and I'm currently working on another web series behind the camera this time as a writer. That's what I got going on.
I've been fortunate enough to work on a number of different independent projects since then. I have a larger project coming out in the fall.
Which is
The Ides of March. It's a major motion picture with George Clooney. And I had a small role in...
You saw her here first?
I had a small role in that film, and it was fantastic. But yeah, I really hope that I get to work with you guys again, because I like you.
We like you too.
Oh, thanks.
Right now, Johnny and I are working on writing seasons 2 and 3, which we'll hopefully get to shoot. But I have a slate of other personal projects on the side that I'm also working on. I have a couple of feature films, some shorts that I'm producing, and potential for another series.
I was working on a film called The Ides of March. Apparently, excuse me, it's already been made. I didn't have George Clooney in it. I was going to have Brian. But it shows, you know, I have just short-sightedness on my part. You know, boy, I want to see if we, I want to see how the first season of Aidan 5 goes, and then I'm going to start looking at that little old lady in that cabin. Actually, I hope to work with these guys again. I hope we get to do seasons 2 and 3. That's first and foremost, really, where my heart is, to try to see that finished. And then I think I have a kids thing in mind that I'd like to do. Being a father of 3, I'd like to do something that my kids may watch or participate in. So I think I'm working on, I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm working on kind of a Goonies type of thing. Don't tell anybody, because I think a lot of people are going to jump on it. But yeah, I'd really like to do something just with some adventure and some fun for our kids. So
yeah,
that's what I'm working on.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it. Well, thank you, those video guys, for having us on very much.
Yes, thanks for all the support.
Thank you.
If we had champagne glasses, we'd clink them.
I have champagne glasses and champagne.
Yeah, we should get them.
I will get them right now.
We should get them.
We should pause.